November 12th, 1028 AD, the crowning of Zoe and Romanos III. In early November of 1028 AD, the ruler of the Eastern Roman Empire, Constantine VIII, was dying. Because Constantine had no male heirs, the next ruler of the empire was to marry his daughter Zoe. From his deathbed, the dying emperor selected the Duke of Antioch, Constantine Delesnios, but his advisors wanted someone they could control and who wasn't a strong leader. They managed to change the dying emperor's mind, and as he was leaving his estate in the province of Armenia, the emperor's inner circle bypassed Constantine and selected another heir. Romanos III, who at the time was the urban prefect of Constantinople and was also one of the emperor's lieutenants, was officially named the next emperor and married Zoe on November 9th, 1028 AD. Before the marriage could take place, however, there was a slight problem. He was already married to a woman named Helena, so the church granted him a quick divorce and sent his now former wife to live out her days as a nun in exile inside a remote monastery. On November 9th, the 60-year-old Romanos married Zoe. 3 days later, on November 12th, Constantine VIII died from his ailments at the age of 68. Zoe and her husband now were proclaimed Empress and Emperor of the Eastern Roman Empire, later that day ascending to the throne. The couple remained married for several years, but it wasn't a happy marriage, as they would both take on lovers, and Zoe's own sister Theodora would allegedly try to usurp the throne away from her sister and husband in 1029 AD. Theodora's lover, the Bulgarian prince Presian, whom she was going to marry, plotted to overthrow Romanos III and take over, but after being tried and found guilty, Presian was tonsured, blinded, and exiled to a monastery. In 1031 AD, she had Theodora tonsured and exiled to a monastery after trying to scheme up another plan to take the crown away from her sister and husband, this time with Constantine Diogenes, an Eastern Roman general who killed himself after being implicated in the plot. Romanos would be murdered in his own bath 2 years later, on April 11, 1034 AD, by his servants after he was allegedly poisoned by Zoe earlier in the day. One of the servants was Michael IV, who would marry Zoe after Romanos was officially pronounced dead. The marriage was delayed for several hours due to the Patriarch of Constantinople, Alexius I, refusing to marry the two and crowning him emperor on moral grounds, but he later changed his mind after receiving 50 pounds of gold.